jobs. As a result of that led me to meet some people that later on became very influential in my life. But never did I know that washing pots would have helped me with that. Again, going back to Lena K. Lee, never did I know that just going out there and helping some students would benefit me all the way straight up, benefit me from getting into politics, to becoming a member of the Maryland legislature, to becoming a member of the Congress of the United States of America, and helping the first African American become president of the United States. I mean, think about it. And so we are all connected, all the dots are connected. And as I close, let me leave you with this. And again, I have enjoyed being here. Let me leave you with this. You know, Jesse Jackson, back a few years ago, gave a speech, and at the Democratic Convention, and he said something that I will never, it's just, I think about it all the time. Back then, my father and I were watching the Democratic National Convention. Never did I dream back then that I'd have an opportunity to stand on the Democratic National Convention stage and give a speech, and I've done it twice now. And Jesse Jackson said these words. He says, "I'm tired of sailing my little boat far inside the harbor bar. I want to go out where the big ships float, out on the deep where the great ones are. And should my frail prayer prove too slight for the waves that sweep those billows over, I'd rather go down in a stirring fight than drowse to death at the sheltered shore." To our students, so is that, we got to go where the big boats are. I'm tired. I mean, and that young man, he has to go where the big boats are. He really does. I mean, he can go where the big boats are, but we've got to do all of those things that we need to do to be examples for him, to show him that discipline, to show him that big pictureness, to show him that urgency that you got to do this. Well, you got to get this done today. You cannot wait for this. You cannot wait to get your education. You got to do well in first grade today. You got to get that blessing today. Because we don't know how long you have to be where you are. So we want you to get what you need today. And ladies and gentlemen, I believe deep in my heart, if we do that, things like mentorships are very important. Things like going out and working with people in, say, nursing homes. You know, by the way, when I want to be inspired, when I really want to be inspired, I go to a nursing home. You know, when I want to make sure when I get lazy and stop exercising sometimes, the first thing I do is I go to a nursing home. You know why? Because I want to slow the aging process down. I'm serious. I mean, y'all think I'm serious. That's all you got to do. Just visit. You ain't got to be there long. Just take some flowers to somebody. Just say, you know, I'm going to visit somebody, and just give somebody some flowers, and sit down there and talk for about 15 minutes. I guarantee you, when you leave, you'll get on that exercise bike and sit there. That's for sure. But what I'm saying is that sometimes we need to see people. See, a lot of people think that volunteerism and doing things to help others, that they are the only ones that benefit. That's not true. You benefit too. You benefit tremendously because you get a chance not only to help somebody, but you help yourself, and see, this is the one that people don't think about. You take your mind off of you. You take your mind off of you, and when you take your mind off of you and see the bigger picture, all it does is inspire you to be the best that you can be. I hope this has been helpful. I hope this was good. Thank you very much.
Congressman Cummings, Sociology in Action, Giants Working in Our Communities. We proudly appreciate and honor you for your excellence in the field of government on this day in May 2010. Congratulations. Thank you very much.
folks, I wish I could stay longer, but I gotta get down to Prince George's County. And thank you very much. Congratulations.
Well, before you leave, Congressman Cummings, I have a comment. I used to deliver papers also when I was growing up in the village. But the people didn't pay me because I didn't deliver the papers.
Gotta have discipline.
What you want to? Oh, come on, Dr. Bushner, it's up to you.
Professor Walter Dean, Professor of Sociology, retired Baltimore City Community
Okay. Let him say some words. Let him say some words. Say some words. I have a word to say about it. 10 minutes. You've been here 40 years. Let him say a few words. Okay, a few words. I got my place. Well, first, good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you all for coming out. And this is one of the, when Professor Hill called me about this affair that Professor Kenyatta was sponsoring, I was shocked. Professor Kenyatta was one of my former students. And I'm here with my family, my sisters. I have one baby sister who went to school with Stan Brown. Where's Stan Brown? Well, Stan Brown's classmates. And I have a couple of sisters who are pastors, and I have a brother here. Strong family. I also looked at Elijah Cummings. He and I both served, as he said to you, in the House of Delegates at the same time. I'm looking at Harry Smith.
Yes, sir.
Harry Smith and I met some time ago, in 1960, at the Street Club Worker Program. Then we worked together in the MUN program, Model Urban Youth Development Program in East Baltimore, around Kenyatta Avenue and North Avenue. It was there when the riots started, so-called, I call it so-called riots, when Stan Mazer was working for Mayor McKeldin. And I received a call one night from the mayor's office. It was Walter Dean and Joe Smith come down to the mayor's office. And of course, Stan Mazer was the liaison or some big deal at the mayor's office. But now, and Mayor McKeldin says, you have to help us in the city. And so I was the person sent to the ghetto. So Smith was the guy sent to see the middle class folks. So we went out to do what we could in the city. During the riots, so-called riots, Joe and I had a special pass. We could travel anywhere we wanted in the city with police escort. So if we saw the police mishandling someone, we had the right to question them and go to the 5th Regiment Armory to see whether or not the person was being treated well. And we did that. Last in the sex. We have another name here. Let me make sure. Ross Ford. Now, Ross Ford's wife is named Norma Brown, but I went to Morgan State University. I was the editor of the student newspaper, and the photographer for the yearbook. 4 of us integrated northward. Norma Brown was the big honcho in the office who ran everything. Because remember now, in those days, folks were highly involved, but
they have never been recognized. So Ross Ford, social worker, married woman, was instrumental in putting together the civic interest group that integrated Northwood. And I was the first person to be arrested in that incident. Just want to say that I enjoyed working with BCCC. I never considered working here to be a job. As a matter of fact, for the young folks, I have never had a job. Every place I worked, because I was wanted to do it. When I was in high school, I think I was about 16, maybe 15, I went looking for a job. Couldn't find one. Found one on Baltimore Street, in a restaurant next door to the Gaiety Theater. So you young folks don't know about the Gaiety Theater, but just real quick, nude shows at the Gaiety Theater. I, a white man, was hired as dishwashers. 2 weeks later, I was the short order cook. 2 weeks later, I was the night cook. So the white guy was still doing what? Washing the dishes. And how did I learn how to cook? At home. Because I learned how to cook when I was a kid. My first time cooking, I remember standing on a stool to heat water, heat some food on the stove. From then on, I learned how to do what? To cook. That led me to have a job in the restaurant. At Walker State University, I was the editor of the student newspaper. That led to a job with the Afro-American newspapers. The job with the Afro-American newspaper led to a job with the Street Club series, Harry Smith. Worked with Martin Harry Smith, led me to a job working with Stan Baser at the Community Action Agency, where I became the director of some youth camp, which I knew nothing about. Director of a youth camp. And that experience led me to be chosen. I didn't know politics. I was asked to run. First from New Burns in East Baltimore, didn't like him. Then very welcome, West Baltimore, didn't like her. So I moved to West Baltimore where no one knew me. And in 1 year, I ran for office. One of my chief persons who helped me get into office, my sister Dolores, because she handled all that food that folks like to eat. And one thing you have volunteers, they certain they are well what? Fed. Keep them going. So thank you, Kenyatta, for this honor. And thank you, Dr. Professor Hill. And I thank the Community College of Baltimore because I did have a good experience here. And I said before, well, I need to thank Tony Bingo. Tanya was on the committee that hired Tony as an assistant professor. She moved at lightning speed. First PhD, MBA, and now she's a dean at CCBC, and really a powerful, powerful person. And I really appreciate her. All that she has done is extremely creative. For you students, learn how to use that computer. Because Dr. Mingo is an expert. Not only an expert, but super expert in using that computer, and it's helped her career immensely. And I want to thank Mrs. Mason for being very supportive in my life. And I want to thank all of you all for giving me this opportunity to appear before you. Thank you very much.
Next, we'd like to honor the late Dr. Stanley Mazer, Professor of Sociology, Baltimore City Community College, and we understand accepting on his behalf is Mrs. Mazer.
recognition of Dr. Mazer for his excellence in the field of sociology on this day of May the 10th, 2010. Ms. Mazer.
Well, I just want to, it's sort of an emotional thing. I just want to thank you very much for remembering my husband, who was certainly devoted all these years to Fort Varsity Community College, and to his very special friends, Harry, who you always said was a brother you never had, and Walter, of whom he was extremely fond. And thank you very much.
Mr. Harry Smith, Professor of Allied Human Services, Baltimore City Community College.
This is an honor to you, Dr. Harry Smith, for your excellence in the field of academic instruction on this day of May 10, 2010. Thank you. For sociology in action.
One of the bulwarks of student engagement is participation. And as faculty or staff, we should never forget the value of student participation and student involvement. Communication all over the country now tend to be a very, very serious problem. I think we have to extend our communication network and include more families in the planning of community college content and involvement. And I think if we do that, for schools like CCB, where the enrollment, in my view, is not where it should be, will definitely be increased.
Dr. Tanya Ringo, Kingsville Campus, Dean Community College of Baltimore County.
Yes, Dr. There you go. Dr. Ringo, I have 3 words here. I just wanted, before you start, I just want to say, I had to say something. Dr. Ringo, well, we go way back, before I started in education. Go back to another workplace. And she brought me here on campus as a professor. Just very inspirational to me. So inspirational when I know that she went to school and she got all these degrees with a PhD. Now I'm in school working on my PhD. But it was all based on watching Tanya, another person, work so hard and do so much. It was right, fast, fast. Blink of the eye, I mean, 10 things of that, multitask. So, very much, I love you. Love you too.
Thank you. Like the Honorable Elijah said, I had a sense of urgency. And actually, I got that from my grandmother, who, and I often will tell this story to my children, and I also teach still, but at Morgan in the doctoral program in community college leadership. That's an opportunity for me to now shape the minds of our future administrators. And for those who I had in undergrad, if they thought I was challenging, you wait, talk to some of my doctoral students, and they want to know, well, you give us so much, and it's so hard. Hard? It's supposed to be. It has to be challenging. They have to make the difference, and that's why I keep instituting it to them. You have to make the difference. What did Mahatma Gandhi say? You have to be the change you want to see in the world. I said, if you don't make a difference, then you can leave right now.
If it's about you, you can leave right now.
That's right.
Everything that Elijah said, it just rung so true. And my grandmother used to say, "What have you done today?" We used to come home, and she used to watch us. And I said, "Well, I did A, B, C, and D." And she said, "No. What have you done to make a difference in somebody else's life?" And she would say that when we were little. Always was about education. And the reason that was so meaningful to us is because when my grandmother was growing up, she was 13 siblings, her mother died when they were very young. And they were spread out, the siblings, among different families. She had to work with Miss Long all her life. She was never permitted to go to school. We didn't even realize she couldn't read or write. When she was 64, she started school. At 72, she got her degree and was valedictorian of her class. My cousin had put up this little slideshow the other day because my grandfather will be 91 next week. And my grandmother has since passed, but you know, when I was looking at those pictures, it just brought tears to my eyes of her graduation. It was the same year that I had gotten my master's, and they were like, "Well, we need to have this big party for you and grandmother." I said, The most important degree that will ever come into this family is what my grandmother achieved. From 64, learning how to read and write. But she would push us. I remember when she learned how to write her name. And we would sit around the table and was like, "Oh," you know. And then she got her birth certificate and found out that the name that Miss Long had been calling her wasn't her name. See, she could read. Frederick Douglass said that. One of the most painful things is when he really got his education, because then he knew how much he was being discriminated and held back. But my grandmother pushed us on. I learned my discipline from her. She passed it on to my mother, who passed it on to me. My mother's the only one of her siblings who went to college. But she pushed us. We have to make a difference. And I would just close by saying my mantra, and I keep this in my head always when I wake up every morning, is that service is the rent we pay for being on this earth. I never want to be late on my rent. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ross Ford, retired clinical social worker and founder of the Baltimore City Family Life Center.
Okay, Professor Kenyatta is going to take this on his
On
behalf.
his behalf, that'd be great. Thank you, Professor. And also, we understand the Honorable Patricia Jessamy, State's Attorney, Baltimore City, was not able to attend this evening, so we will be sure that she receives this recognition. And finally, we have one more honoree this evening. We have been, to recap, we're looking at leadership, achievement, excellence, dedication, hard work in many aspects of service in the community, in the academy. And we have a surprise honoree, someone who has brought diligence and commitment and hard work to his role every day, working in higher education. It is especially a pleasure for me to introduce the surprise honoree because I'm fortunate to be his boss, Dean Ted Along.
Here tonight.
Well, thank you. I don't know what to say because this is such a surprise. And for everybody that knows me, they just know how could he be lost for words because I've never been lost for words. I think to present this to me in the same with Harry and with Walden, I'm more than proud to accept that because I'm standing in great company with giants. I guess they are because they were our giants. So I'd like to applaud them for being our leaders and thank you for letting me know you and work with you.
That's why we kept saying, oh, come back, bring your And I guess we have one more presentation. Let me add about Dean Tuttle Long. He's a hardworking dean, and he is an inspiration in more ways than one. Many people don't know, but he is a Purple Heart recipient from the Vietnam War. So he's dedicated his life in many ways through his service and through his leadership in higher education, and certainly is a role model, and I'm proud to be working with him.
I can start while I'm up here. Okay. We have this presentation. Monique Dobbs, she did Student Community Service Practicum, and she's going to present to us her community service hours.
Calendar on student calendar.
Yes, because this is student and this is sociology in action, and she went out in the community and she did a presentation and she's going to present it. This is the importance of tonight of going out and giving and volunteering, and this is what she did for 8 to 10 community service hours.
Derek, help the sister. Get another brother to help. This brother? This is a technical glitch that we have here.
Oh, and I just want to say that this class, Sociology 3093 and Sociology 3094, I do see one of my students in the class, she's here. They all were part of this community practicum. They all went into the community and volunteered. And they presented presentations to their classmates for the last 2 weeks and what they did. And I just wanted to tell you, this is one out of many that did such a great job in the community.
Good evening, family, friends. My name is... Good evening, family and friends. My name is Monique Dobbins. I am a student in Professor Kenyatta's Sociology 101 class. Our class was given the assignment to devote 10 community service hours to a nonprofit organization of our choice. The idea behind the assignment was to understand that sociology isn't just taught, but it is an action verb, something you do. I'm standing here today to inform you of my experiences at the organization that I chose. I devoted my community service hours to an organization by the name of Emerge, Inc., which is a nonprofit organization for Maryland individuals with developmental, physical, and mental health disabilities. Emerge offers residential, employment, and day programs. It's centralized in Columbia with facilities in Baltimore City and Baltimore, Howard, Anne Arundel, and Prince George's counties. My duties at Emerge were to sort residents' medications, aid in meal preparation, supervise activities such as dining out. I interacted with the highly functional residents, 3 males in particular, Cal, Mike, and Will. Cal has mild mental retardation. He had a traumatic childhood experience which led to behaviors such as hoarding, begging, tantrums, stubbornness, and constant hunger. If you took your eye off of Cal for 1 second, you would catch him eating off the floor or out of the trash can. He's funny, always happy, and he enjoys dancing and singing. His favorite song is Willie Billy. He works at a computer company where he takes apart computers. Mike has mild mental retardation as well. He's more laid back. He doesn't say much. He has an incredible memory, and he's fascinated with getting his ears pierced. Will has mild mental retardation as well as dwarfism. He's like the father figure of the 3. He's a social butterfly. He can conversate with just about anyone. And he participates in the Little People of America convention every year. Before going into Emerge, I thought I would be working in a nursing home setting with individuals with severe disabilities. I thought I would have to change diapers. I thought I would have to feed patients, bathe patients. But after my first day, I realized that they were normal just like you and I. They were highly functional. They could bathe themselves, they could feed themselves, and they used the toilet on their own. I believe that Emerge plays an important role in the community because it teaches simple skills such as shopping, job training, meal preparation, and daily life skills such as bathing, feeding, and getting dressed. Emerge Inc. ensures individuals with developmental, physical, and mental health disabilities have the skills to assimilate in a society that 30 years ago would have institutionalized them. Thank you. And I would like to thank Professor Kenyatta for giving me an opportunity to share my presentation today.
I didn't realize the content of the meeting today, Professor Kenyatta. I should have known that you were a change agent. Sociology is a change agent field. The civil rights movement was a movement based on sociological tenets. Sociology, civil rights, women's live, all those rights that were forged in the 60s and 70s were sociological movements. I am highly concerned now because it seems that young folks do not know about what happened a few years ago, a couple decades ago. As a consequence, we're now facing a serious problem in this country. In this country, gradually wilting away our rights, and no one seems to be concerned. The Supreme Court is a conservative court. All the rights that we have fought for are slowly being eroded by highly literate men. When I say highly literate, they read very well, and they use words that fool you. Unless you can do what? You can read. And not only must you be able to read, you must be able to understand. We now have a growing division in this country between the haves and the have-nots, which are not taught. Students do not want to hear that. But the gap between the haves and have-nots is growing. The greatest victims of that gap are Hispanic people, like Mexicans, who they want to racially profile. African Americans. The African American situation is so dire that no one wants to talk about it anymore. So the only salvation will be young folks are going to have to start reading and becoming active. When I was in college, I was the president of the English Honor Society, Philosophy Honor Society, at the Student Association, the other student paper, and participated in demonstrations almost every day, hot or cold. And what we have to do now is that rev up activism.
That's right.
Because without activism, we will not survive as a people. And but some folks think that if you go to college, obtain a degree, you will obtain everybody's job. No, not in this society. No way. You have to become highly knowledgeable. Dr. Dean Ringo is my model. I should have been like her. I think I was at one time. I slowed down. But you have to learn several fields at the same time. Have more than one skill. And when you're in college, BCCC, you have to know but you must go for your bachelor's and master's degree. Because without those degrees, you have a very difficult time, and you need to really pay attention to your mathematics. Learn how to read statistics. These statistics tell a story, especially on income. The more formal education you have, the greater your prospects. And the idea, I hate to say this, but if you associate with people who are clueless, you too will become what? Clueless. So change your associations. If you know somebody who's smart in math, you're not smart in math, hey, we all knows it. And learn. Okay? But we're not in a critical situation because there's a person being numbered to the Supreme Court who is a conservative. And the laws are being radically changed. So the way to kill a beast, big bear or something, is to cut him with a razor. You know why? Because as he's being cut, he's bleeding to death. He doesn't know it. We're being cut with a razor in this country. And we are not aware that we are bleeding to death. So I urge every person in this room, get off your butt, go volunteer somewhere. Because every politician, every leader in this Baltimore City volunteers somewhere. Harry knows, we know a lot of them. They were once volunteers. Next thing you know, you have a new job. Next thing you know, there's some big boss someplace. Start off giving themselves their talents away. Because when you give your talent away, then you gain more talent. You gain more people, gain more knowledge, you gain more associates, and you gain greater opportunities. So thank you for letting me speak for a couple more minutes. I really appreciate it.
Hello, I am Professor Naomi and I'm just want to close. There are a few words to close, very short, like 1 minute, because everything was said through the honorees, starting with Congressman Elijah Cummings. It was said. It continued with Dr. Busher. It continues straight on to all of the honorees here tonight. But I need to let you know. I need to let you know that it could never have happened if I didn't have cooperation from certain people. And I want to thank those people, straight down to the very beginning, Professor Kenyatta and Lizette and Dean Long and Carol. She's not here. Carol Taylor, the secretary. Oh my God, she just did so much. Oh my goodness. Lynette Parsons, she's not here. Just so many people behind the scenes to make sure that this happened, that we were able to get the spot, that we were able to have some food and refreshments. It's out there waiting for you. That's why I'm finished. Thank you all.
Good afternoon. Good evening. I'm Professor Kenyatta, and first I want to thank God first and foremost in anything I do. That's the first thing I do in the morning, is thank God for waking me up. And because without that, none of this would have happened. I also want to thank the president of this college, Dr. Caroline Williams. You don't see her here, but she's well represented.
Yeah.
And she's going to get the word. Trust me.
Yeah.
I want to thank Dr. Busher. I want to thank Dr. A-Long and his secretary, Ms. Carolyn Taylor. She worked tirelessly to make sure this thing happened. I really want to say things about everybody who's been honored here, but I call him Doc. Dean Long, A-Long, ever since I've been here, he's been my debate partner. He allows me to come in his office during his lunchtime and we talk. He comes to my classroom, and it's been a good working relationship. So I really want to thank him. I have to thank Dr. Ringo, because she's the one who hired me in 2005 to be an adjunct. So I really got to thank you, darling. I really got to thank you. And I hope you was impressed with this PowerPoint. That's one of my students did. Yeah. This is the master right here. And so with the little words jumping all around the place and stuff like that. She did. She did. So we just want to show you the type of students that we producing here. There's a lot more people I want to thank. I want to thank Bill Johnson. He's the video photographer. He's been with me for over 10 years. And you need to talk to him. If you've never talked to Bill Johnson before, especially you, Lizette, because these are money people. These people know how to make money. So I just want to throw that out. They have cards, maybe. If I tell you they know how to make money, they know how to make money. So everybody needs to know somebody know how to make money. I want to go down the list, and I'm going to get to my students. I'm saving my students, the best for last. Dr. Mazer, I was here in 1971. I was a student myself. And Dr. Stan Mazer, Mrs. Mazer, was the one who indoctrinated me into sociology. He was a great man. And he indoctrinated me into sociology. And I've never forgotten, he planted that seed in me in sociology. He's a giant, along with some other giants we have in here. He was a giant, and maybe one day I'll become a giant because of the seed he implanted in me. So I want you to know, and that's why we honored him tonight, because he shall never be forgotten as long as I live. Well, the Dean, Dr. Dean, I call him Dr. Dean. Now, a lot of my students think I'm tough. They really think I'm tough. They give me a lot of work. You just ought to be glad you have Walter Dean. And I thought he was the toughest or the meanest sociology teacher, professor in the world. Well, I ain't lying. He's tough. Also, Harry Smith, I call him Doc too, because he taught me at another college, Sojourner Douglas, and the college was very new in the 80s, early 80s, and they didn't have money. And Harry Smith worked there as long as he could with little or no money. That's the making of a giant. I want you to understand that. In other words, he more or less volunteered to make sure this college would survive. And also, when I retired in 2005, I told Harry I was retiring. I was just 62. He said, man, I'm 73 and I ain't retired, so don't retire. So I'm here. Don't know how long, but I'm here. Harry Smith, love you, man, for real. And whatever my family can do to help you recover, you got that. You understand that? Yeah. My students, all my students stand. I want my students to stand. My students, stay saying this. Oh, you don't have to say it, Angela, because you got a little baby coming. My students come from all over. My students come from all over the world. I have students from Haiti, Morocco, Nepal, Philippines, Togo, and maybe some other students. And I'm very proud of them. A few gave me a run for my money now. I got a student here I love very dearly, but boy, that girl, she got me. I ain't gonna tell you who she is, but she know who she is. My whole class know who she is, but she's a A student. She's smart. She can come up here tiny and do this thing on this board, just like Monique. And she just need for this family. My class is a family, is that right? Yes. And they did a lot of work. They did a lot of work, and they're gonna do the just rewards. They're gonna get that. But I always told them at the end of the day that I loved them. And they see, and I'm real proud of you because I know that when you leave up out of here, you're gonna understand what the world is all about, and you're gonna be competitors. You're gonna be competitors. And so I just wanna let you know I'm real proud of you. I'm also real proud of Professor Hill's class, because I had the opportunity to sit in on a couple of classes with them. And they're also scholars. So I just want to let you know that I'm proud of you. Okay? Y'all can sit down now. And thank you, Dave. I worked there today. I worked there real hard today. Thank you. But we had a student from Morocco. When he came to my class, I don't think he could speak any English at all. Now he's over there volunteering with B. Gaddy. Mr. Muhammad, raise your hand in the air. Yeah, give her a hand. All with Morocco. We're gonna close now. We have some awesome food outside. Oh, Miss Lizette Wells. She's the one who I challenged her, and what a lot of people didn't know. What was your original project? Stand up and tell them what your original project I gave you.
It was twofold to begin with, but the first one was to invite the First Lady.
Who was that?
Michelle Obama. And I said, okay. And then the second part was to invite Congressman Elijah Cummings. And the connection was say, well, Congressman Cummings is very close with the Obamas, so when I wrote my letter to Michelle, I definitely dropped in that I was inviting Congressman Cummings, just in case she wasn't going to, and she said, oh, well, if Elijah's going to be there, well, then I got to be there. But I faxed and I emailed, and I still got the thanks for playing letter. But I'll never forget the call I got from the congressman's office, and you do this and you're thinking, like I said earlier, okay, I wanted to reach out to him, but he wasn't my congressman. But I said, let me reach out to my congressman. But then Professor said, oh, you got to reach out to Congressman Cummings. I said, how did you know I wanted to do that? And I got the call, and she said, well, we got your invitation, and, he would be delighted to accept your invitation. And I'm waiting for that play. I'm like, oh, you mean he's coming? Oh. So that challenge, thank you, because it was on my heart to do that. And I hadn't done it, but you put the challenge out there, and I'm thankful to God that it was able to come through. Okay.
Thank you. Last words, and we're going to say a little prayer. Let me tell you, thank you. You're supposed to be standing up here. Look here. We can't forget, I hope I said Dr. Bushy. Did I recognize you, Dr. Bushy? Well, Stan the man. He didn't know about this until the day that he was the MC of the program. My daughter mother is Lynette Parsons. She was supposed to contact him, let him know, but she's feeling ill. But he's a trooper, and we really appreciate you, man. And I'm talking about, I want to say something else, but I might not come out right, so I ain't saying. The boy is clean, I ain't lying. So we want to thank you for that. I forgot what I wanted to say. But the reason why I'm taking a minute is because the giants that was honored tonight, I mean all of them, they have planted a seed in me. And young people, I hope this semester I have planted a seed in you. I hope so. And time will tell. And one day you'll be standing up here. And I would hope this Giants Award of Sociology in Action will continue annually to honor other giants in the community, because there's a whole lot of them out there. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. So I just want to say thank you. We're going to say a closing prayer, and then closing prayer is also the blessings for the food. We like for the honorees to go first and get their food, and you can bring it back in here. You can sit outside, have a few words, but we end at 8 o'clock if we can. The divine creator of the heavens and the universe, we bow our heads to thank you for the traveling mercies that brought us here. We thank you for our giants, our honorees. We thank you for traveling mercies for Elijah Cummings as he makes his way. We thank you for the food we're about to partake in. Then we ask you to grant us traveling mercies as we leave this place tonight, and we'd be thankful, we'd be grateful, and we will praise your name forever and ever. We say, Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.